Morning everybody, this is Bernie from Stampin' Up at Tauranga Wellness Clinic. This morning we are going to be doing a project that is a base still on the beach theme, and the card we're going to be making this morning is this gorgeous birthday card featuring the Sand and Sea Suite. Now I absolutely love this card. It is featuring some of the retiring product that is not going to be available very much longer, so do make sure that if you are wanting to get your hands on some of the Seaside Spray as well as the DSP or the design series paper of the Sand and Suite, that's going to be discontinued at the end of June, so yeah, make sure that you do get hold of it. So I run my Stampin' Up mini retreats every second and last Tuesday of the month, and this card is going to be featured this coming Tuesday, the 27th of April. So if you'd like to be part of that, please hop onto my website and click on the Stampin' Up, and under the card section, or under Bernie's Craft Room I think is what it says, there you will find a sign up form to join us. I'd love to see you there. Now this card is not my design. I was inspired by this card. I found it on Pinterest. I have changed it slightly from the original. So the original used the Whisper White chalk stamp pad. I always do that. The Whisper White stamping ink pad, that one. But I used the stamping chalk marker instead. So let's get cracking. I'm going to put all the measurements on these on this tutorial, but you will also be able to find them under my Stampin' Up. So we're going to start with some Seaside Spray. This is 5.5 by 8.25, and we're going to score this at 4.25. Now I just want to show you a little trick. I cut, when I have offcuts of my papers, I label a clear A4 file, you get these at any stationery shop, with the name of the paper, and then I put my offcuts in there, because we're going to use a lot of offcuts today, and I must say I used to have a very, very messy craft room until I started to do that, and it's a lot more organized now. So this is going to be at 4.25. You will find when you score, let's get that, there's going to be a line there. There's going to be a side that's got a dent, and there's going to be a side that's got a ridge. The ridge is what goes inside. And using my bone folder, I'm just going to create a nice fold for that. It just gives it a nice clear finish, and it means that that ridge is inside. So we're going to set that to the side, because that's going to form the base of our card. Now on a separate piece of Seaside Spray, I cut this one to 5.25 by 3.75. We are going to run this through the Pinewood Plank 3D folder. Now I'm not sure if there is still stock of this, so do make sure that if you do have one, that you place your cardstock in the direction that you want your pine to show. So in other words, you're doing it vertically. I hope that makes sense. And remember, when you run through any of our embossing folders through your your 3D machine, sorry, your emboss and cut machine, you need to put the fold through first. So I'm just going to run that through. Alright, now we've got a nice beautiful pine design, and what I did on this one, just to show you, is I'm going to use this chalk marker, and literally I am just going to just go at random intervals over the pine and give it a distressed look. And it really depends on you as to how little or how much. So I might just go, that looks like it's ended, so I'm going to take that to the end. There we go, beautiful. Now we are going to put some linen thread around the edge. So what you do with the linen thread is you want to preserve, you don't want to spend a fortune on your ribbons. So I use the tear and tape, and I'm going to put a little bit on each end. And then we're going to just wrap the linen around it. If I can find, oh there we go, what I did with my linen thread. So around, loop, and around. Let's bring it in nice and close and tear. So we'll come back to the linen and do the bow right at the end when we've finished all the other bits. So now we've got our linen thread. Probably brought that one a little bit higher than the original, but that's okay. We can just move it down slightly. We're now going to work on creating the circle, cutting that out as well, and doing the dies. So what you need for doing the circle is a piece of Sahara sand cardstock, and I just cut mine out at 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So again, it's just really useful to have some leftover scraps. And I'm using the Stitched Shapes die for that. That will go over there, and I'm going to run that through my machine. So there you can see I've run the Stitched Shapes, the biggest circle through. It's given me a gorgeous edge to that. So that one we're going to place over there when we've finished designing it. I'm now going to use some of the design series paper from Sand & Sweet. In my original one, if we have a look there, I used this one that looked like the clouds, but this one I'm actually going to use with the sea. And for that, I am using my 2.5 inch punch. So I've punched that out with the 2.5 inch punch, and so you can see it's created some lines that actually look like the ocean. So I'm going to position that over there. And I am going to ink that message now with the Friends Are Like Seashells. Just move that light. I keep getting a reflection of my halogen light that I'm using. Right, try that again. I'm using the Friends Are Like Seashells, and I'm going to have the sentiment on there. I'm actually going to go, "You are unique and completely amazing," for this one. So I have mounted this on a clear block, as you can see, and we are going to use the Night of Navy. With these new ones, you just press them down on the edge and they pop open, which is really cool. Alright, use a rubber mat, especially with the photopolymer stamps. They are it's easier, and you will just, all you do is you just tap lightly. You don't need to apply pressure with these stamps because they are really good quality, so it's not like some of the other stamps that you, just checking that there was ink on that. And because they're clear, just hold steady and lift, and there you have a beautiful sentiment. You are unique and completely amazing. So just close that, because I have a tendency to get ink on my hands, and we'll move that to the side for now. So now we've got that and that, which we can actually glue now, because we are finished with this. So I'm just using some of my Tombow. Positioning that down there. Right, we're getting there slowly. Now we are going to work on creating these gorgeous seashells. So I am going to use a bit of scrap of my shimmer white cardstock. Now shimmer white has got a slight, you can't really see it in the light, but it's got like a little bit of a glitter to it. This is designed specifically to do water painting on it, or using your blending pens. So it is beautiful quality paper for that. It won't stain right through, and it also holds. So I'm going to stamp the starfish, the dollar, and I'm going to do a starfish, and we're going to use that. So using crumb cake, I'm just going to ink it lightly. I'm doing a second generation ink here because I don't want it too dark, so I'm going off and then on where I'm going to color it. So you can see it's nice and light. And then I'm doing my starfish, just using the same pad. Oops, wrong one. Oh dear. What have I done with my seashell? There it is. I seem to do that in every video. It's funny. And we're going to go in there. So that's quite dark, but that's okay because we are only using that. And the starfish we'll do in the Seaside Spray. Okay, so what I've done now is I've inked up my images. So I've done a second generation of the Seaside Spray of the starfish, a first generation of the shell, and a second generation of the star dollar. Now I am going to use my blender pen, and I'm going to take my crumb cake stamp pad, and I'm just going to go in there slightly, get the nib, so just in there, wipe a bit on the side, and then I'm going to color. So I'm going to fast forward this video so that I don't bore you, but this is pretty much what I'm going to be doing right around to get a water looking design. Alright, so what I've done here is I've used the blender pen. Now I just wanted to show you, you can use the same ink pen, so you don't need hundreds of pens. You just simply wipe the nib until it comes clear. And what I've done is, you can see all these brushstroke marks. Before I actually applied the ink onto the design, I wiped off some of the ink so that it wasn't too strong, because I just wanted, if you have a look at my first one, I didn't do that, and I actually wanted more of a watercolor this time. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to run that through the die cut machine, and we're also going to run through the die. I want to show you what I'm going to do there. We've got some lovely, in the Seaside Seashell die, I'm going to put some, I'm going to use this design here to cut out those leaves, these seaweeds, but I'm also going to put some paper here to cut out these long spindly ones for there. Alright, so I'll get back to you with that. Right, so what I've done, you probably won't be able to see, is that I've actually cut out part of the die from the big die, and I'm actually just going to use, I'm going to snip that and create my own leaf to go around the edge, because we don't need a lot. So that one will just poke the hole out of that. I'm actually going to glue that down right now. And that way we've got some idea of what's going on. See, my one ribbons decided to come loose as well. You know, I've been having quite an interesting week this week. Honestly, everything just seems to be one of those weeks where it's going wrong. Do you have weeks like that? Where everything you do just seems to go wrong. I managed to flood out my laundry yesterday. I thought I'd do the right thing by cleaning my washing machine, giving it a drum clean. I put the detergent in like I was meant to have. Just going to turn that slightly in. But obviously there was too much detergent because it just went out the dispensing thing and all over. So I'm just going to show you. I'm just literally going to cut this little bit over here. So, and I'm going to invert it, but I'm going to cut this off so that it's creating what looks like a leaf over there. So you just use your bits of scrap. Anyway, back to my washing machine. I obviously put way too much in, even though I didn't. I thought I hadn't, but must have, because it just went absolutely bonkers. I just had this little voice in my head that went, you should probably go and check your washing machine. And just as well I did. So I'm going to mount this one on our mini dimensionals, because I came into my laundry and there was foam everywhere on the floor, and we have, so I'm putting mini dimensionals on these. We have what's that stuff called? Vinyl planking, so they're not supposed to get wet. So now I'm I'm waiting to see what's going to happen. I'm just trying to pick this up. Is it going to lift the planking? Have I managed? Did I get there in time? Because fortunately it wasn't major, but there was enough there, I think, to possibly cause damage. So I don't know. We're going to have to see. Also managed to wipe up a month's worth of work on my computer. We're busy planning. Business colleague of mine and I, Jackie from Thrive Business Consulting, her and I are doing a ladies retreat for busy women on the 17th of May. And you are most welcome. We would love to have you there. So I'm just putting dimensionals on this. My starfish, I'm going to do one. We would love to have you there. We are dealing with busy women because, you know, there are so many women out there that are just absolutely frantically busy. This one I'm going to run through the embossing folder, so I'll be back. Just giving it a little bit of texture. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just got a little bit of texture just to make it pop. But anyway, back to my retreat. I was saying that we are just all so incredibly busy as women. Do you see what I've done here? I'm going to have to redo this gently. Seriously, ladies, or gentlemen, if you're watching this. Seems like I'm having... I might just have to move these up slightly. Is that going to make it? Yes! Only just. There we go. Brilliant. Okay, now we're going to do the linen thread bow. So that goes through underneath. I just like to always just use something sharp to get it going. So yeah, sorry, I keep missing out to tell you about our ladies retreat. It is designed for women like you and me, because we are all busy, we're all doing our thing. We're either looking after families or we're running businesses like myself and Jackie. But the big thing is, in what I have found is that a lot of women spend a lot of time in the supermarket every day getting stuff for their families, and they could actually be doing that in a much smarter way. So that is my passion, is to actually help women save time and work smart with the food that they have, and at the same time feed their families well, which is what we all desire to do. I have yet to meet any woman that does not actually instinctively know that that's what she needs to be doing. Alright guys, so we're now almost finished, so we're going to mount this on there. So we'll just use, in this case I'm going to use the tear and tape because it is a textured piece of cardstock. It just grips better. So I'm going to do that. And you also just need to cut the same basic white cardstock as this one, and I'll put all the measurements up, and you'll pop that inside there and stamp it there. So feel free to go onto my website. There are some other projects there. I update those every fortnight as I teach my classes, and I would love to see you here again. Have a look at my menu and my recipes that I put on, because those are also what I use in my clinic. So there we go. We have a gorgeous, beautiful card to give to somebody that inspires us and that we just want to tell them that we love them. So have a great weekend. Bye.